So today I'm going to be talking about the death of Richard I of England, also known as the Lionheart. So, this is a really weird king. He was the king in Robin Hood, and there's this theory that he barely, if any at all, spoke English. Like he was barely in England, let alone speak English, So that could have been interesting. And yeah, he was this crusade king. You'll see, I'll talk about him in a second. A really interesting figure, and then his death is also quite, not iconic, I'd say, but interesting. He wasn't killed by a noble, he wasn't killed by a plot to assassinate him. You'll see. I won't spoil it. So, it's kind of ironic. He spent all his life fighting in the Holy Land, fighting for religion in the Crusades. But when it came to his death, he didn't die too far from England. Not too far from England, considering the distance between the Holy Land and England. It was closer. I'll tell you where. Well, he was the son of Henry II of England and Eleanor of Aquitaine, and he was born in England, but he really did spend most of his life either fighting abroad or in Aquitaine. And in 1173, he, his brothers, and his mother said, we're tired of Henry II, so we kind of gonna rebel, so yeah. And he joined his family to rebel against his father, and in 1189, they defeated a fairly ill Henry just days before his death, so I'm guessing, could have just waited a little bit and he would have died, but yeah. So, before Henry died, I think Richard was in the heir, but I think I could barely stand on his horse, but he did manage to gather the strength to name Richard as his heir. So before even a year had passed since his coronation, like the guy had some serious problems with this. He went on the Third Crusade. So, and this crusade was to recapture Jerusalem and the rest of the Holy Land from the Muslim Sultan Saladin. So of course, because of this, taxes were raised throughout England, and well, Robin Hood, you can kind of get it there. And some people thought he didn't care about the English. Some people thought he just cared about other people, not the English. He just cared about religion rather than the people. But others saw him as putting religion above everything, which is also quite seen as quite a good thing in those times. So opinions on him were divided at the time and are still divided now. So he kind of failed in the Jerusalem campaign. He didn't manage to regain it, but he did manage to gain safe passage of Christians. Was it the city, so they could kind of just pass without being killed? Kind of a good thing, And well, instead of staying there, he had to go to England. A little bit of a problem. His brother, John, he was saying, "Hey, I want to be king now. I don't like my brother being on the throne, so I'm going to be king." And he stirred up a rebellion and formed an alliance with Philip II of France. So, like I said, Richard was just, oh my god, I have to go to England because my brother's plotting against me. So I'm just gonna go to England, and on the way he was captured by the Holy Roman Emperor Henry VI. So the ransom was around 150,000 marks. And in terms of context, so just So you can grasp your hand around the amount of money they asked. It was 3 times. 3 times what the English crown gained in a year. 3 times that. Just for the ransom of the king, which I get. I mean, it is the King of England. And this was raised, and Richard was eventually released in 1194. He came back to England, but as you can hardly expect, he said, haha, no, I am going back to whatever place. And he went to Normandy to fight against Philip and fight for his beliefs. And that would be the last time he ever touched England. So in March 1199, late March, he was fighting, laying a siege to the castle at Chapon, pardon my French, and he was shot in the shoulder with a crossbow. He would die days later on the 6th of April, 1199, and he would die in France, which, considering the guy spent a lot of his time in Jerusalem and the Holy Land, it is relatively close to home. And yeah, it is said that, like I mentioned this before, that his killer wasn't a noble, his killer wasn't complex plots assassinated, no. His killer was this peasant boy who had a crossbow, and he had seen his father and his mother killed, so he wanted revenge, and he was pardoned by Richard before his death. And yeah, the king was buried, and he inspired many works of fiction, including, most famously, Robin Hood. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That is Richard Lionheart. I mean, the death is really right at the end, and it's not that much, but you kind of need to know the background, and I do believe it's kind of interesting his death. He's this warrior king who keeps on fighting on wars and wars and wars. He isn't killed there, he's just killed by a peasant throwing a crossbow. So that's pretty much it. Like, there's not much else to say, so I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you found it interesting, I hope you liked it, and yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.